Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing K-1 fiancé visas, generally from Thailand. I'm going to do this from the standpoint of Thailand, although this video could be viewed in kind of a more general context. So what are we talking about? We're talking about NVC, that's the National Visa Center, and we're talking about 221G refusals. 221G refusals occur after an interview at a U.S. embassy or consulate. It's basically when they want to see more documentation regarding a given case. We've done a number of videos on this channel regarding this topic. You can go into the search function and just search 221G and you'll find information on the 221G specifically. The reason for this video is we're talking about this because Department of State internally over the past 4 or 5 years has sort of restructured the way that they process cases, and especially in an immigrant spousal visa case, we're talking about, a situation where a lot of the documentation is kind of online front-loaded. You upload it into what's called the CX system, and that documentation then just sort of sits there, and that's what the adjudicating consular officer looks at digitally when they're adjudicating an immigrant visa case. K-1 visas do not go through this process because National Visa Center does not act as a document collector. They're essentially just, for lack of a better term, they're kind of a clearinghouse. They're sort of a post office, if you will. The approved petitions for a K-1 come from USCIS. They go to NVC, and then NVC just sends them on to an embassy. And the reason for the video is because of this, and I'm not saying this is good or bad. In a lot of ways, actually in many ways, I don't like dealing with the National Visa Center. It's cumbersome, it's clunky. Their online system, in my opinion, needs a lot of work. Frankly, I thought it was done better with paper. It's just my opinion. But long story short, K-1s don't go through this. So we do sometimes see a little bit more 221G, although I have to be honest with you, here recently, a lot of the overall process has kind of become an online process. And for this reason, we've seen things, it's much more digitized, it's much more streamlined than it once was. At any given time, probably 8 years ago and before, maybe less, 6 years ago and before, 10 to 20% of my cases got 221G for various reasons, even in very, very qualified cases. Now, if it's 5%, I'd be kind of shocked. So a lot less 221Gs than we once saw. Now, obviously, 2020, we didn't see a lot of processing. But one of the reasons for this, one of the reasons possibly for a little bit higher number of 221Gs in the K-1 is they don't process through the National Visa Center in the same way.